The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on News Radio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
If you're bounding around the internet or your radio dial, which nobody has dials anymore, I guess, it would just be
no dials.
A digital button pressing situation, you might have found us. And we are The Local Show right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM. And of course, you can see us on YouTube as well. Steve Roberts is the primary person for the show.
You never know what he's going to say.
He is.
Ever.
You can text him directly and tell him how great he is. And it's called the Steve Roberts compliment line.
That's right, Tom. It's the Steve adulation line.
Yes.
Though everyone always compliments Tom. I don't know what that is. But 216-0273. Say, hey, we'd like to hear this. We want to hear more of Tom's golden lungs and less of Steve's big mouth. Those kinds of things. Feel free to reach out to us, or maybe you have an idea for a guest or whatever it is. 216-0273, the Steve adulation compliment line. Is that what you call it, Tom?
That's it.
Okay, I want to make sure I got it right.
Okay. Yeah. Greg Portzline is with us right now. He's a certified arborist at Bartlett Tree Experts. You see them all over the place, and you will see them at the big home show as well. Your trucks are there. I don't know how they get a truck in there, but
yeah, we'll be there again this year. I think we've done this
100 years in a row.
It's been a while. We've been in Syracuse since the 1930s, so probably since the original home show. I don't know when that was, but yeah.
You got nice trucks, the nice big bucket trucks and stuff.
Yeah.
Why do you need a bucket truck in your business?
Well, anytime we can keep a climber out of a tree and keep them in a bucket truck, it's always better. Can't always do that.
Right.
That is, it helps us complete our job, safely and efficiently.
Because sometimes you have to go up high into a tree to see what's wrong with it or what's right with it.
Yeah, sometimes do inspections, but more or less to usually prune a tree or install a cable, make it structurally sound, those sorts of things.
Right.
So when did you fall in love with trees? Where'd you come from on this?
So I have always had a love of the outdoors and outside, and like most young adults, I had no idea what I wanted to do with myself.
Yeah, we call them hippies.
Yeah. And I just knew I wanted to work outside, and I kind of went the forestry route at first. Realized I didn't want to spend my life outside alone in the woods. I do like people. So I kind of went the urban forestry / arboriculture route. And that's where I ended up.
So Bartlett does a variety of things. You just mentioned a couple of things you might prune, and I think of you guys as really the experts. They say Bartlett Tree Experts. You guys are the experts. You can identify problems with trees, and Syracuse has no shortage of things like Dutch elm disease that came to town.
Correct,
and various other things. And I experienced something at my own home. We have a beautiful tree. Now, I don't know the names of these things, right? But it's a beautiful tree in front of the house that would blossom with these, they look like little crab apples.
I remember it. I know the tree.
And they get really the pink flower on it, and it's just beautiful. So all year, and then it turns totally green and gives us nice shade. Well, last year, it looked like the bedrock of my life, which is eroding. Yeah. And it just died. It was like, oh my gosh, what happened to our beautiful tree?
Yeah, so you are, like many people, I'm assuming you have a variety of crabapple.
Yes.
Very popular tree in the landscape. Beautiful tree, beautiful flowers. Wish they lasted more than a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, so there's a very common fungal pathogen called apple scab that we see in this area that causes premature defoliation. And what happens is tree looks beautiful into about end of June. Once you start getting it early July, it starts to look a little post-apocalyptic on
That's exactly what it did.
So we offer treatment options for that. We to combat that fungus. And a lot of times when you see things like this, a proactive approach is necessary, because once you see what is happening, it's it's too late for that season for this particular disease. But this is why it's we do what we do, and we do inspections. And if you have concerns, you call our company. We send me or one of my colleagues to the property, and think of us kind of as the consultant who offers you services, or the doctor who prescribes.
Yeah,
as opposed to the guy, we know a guy, he'll come out and cut the tree down.
Correct.
So he amputates, that's his only option. Right? Where you're more...
Bite down on the leather belt, we'll take care of it.
Yeah, well, your team came in and they poked something into the ground all around the tree.
Sure.
And it looks like they were, pushing, an IV into the tree.
Sure. So what you got is some deep root fertilization with a specially blended fertilizer for Central New York, formulated by our laboratories down in North Carolina.
So you made the juice?
We contract to make the juice, but we formulate the juice. Yeah.
Right.
So a little bit about Bartlett that I think a lot of people don't understand is we've been in business for over 116 years. Bartlett Tree Experts is a science-based tree care company. We have a very large research arboretum down in North Carolina. We have over 12 arboretum, yeah. Ooh. Research laboratory and arboretum. Actually, I think it's the largest magnolia collection in the world down there. But anyway, so we a lot of research, a lot of development goes in. We have over 12 PhDs who work down there and work on these things. And this is what kind of gives us the edge and scientific approach to handle these issues that, like you're saying, we're not just going to come out and say, oh, that tree's done for, cut it down.
Right. Now, what's the second part of my tree service, do you think?
Come springtime this year, you'll likely be on the roster for your topical applications to stop the fungus from infecting this year's leaves.
Right. You had me at apple scab. I thought is that like a slang term?
Well, no, that is the term. The Latin is very confusing, but apple scab is the disease. And
Interestingly enough,
there's a few others, but that is the main one you're dealing with.
I wonder if it can go from tree to tree. Can it go to the other trees? Okay.
So the spores from this fungus come out from the fallen leaves that fell off last year. So they're floating around. They're in hedgerows. They're stuck all over. See? And these spores are going to pop out in the springtime, and they're going to land on everyone else's crab apples, but yours will be protected.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, so if someone has an elm tree and it's sick, or is it savable, or is that just like forget about it?
So that's a little bit of a different animal. Dutch elm disease. That's one that's been around a long time ago, and we do have treatments for it, and it's a little bit of a different process. That's more of an intravenous approach. We do treatments for Dutch elm disease. Unfortunately, there's not that many elms left that people care about.
Oh, that's too bad.
They've been decimated.
So if someone has one, it is savable?
It is. That's tough to say. So 100% savable, we can't say. It's kind of like, we do our best.
Can they be preemptive?
Yes, absolutely.
So you got the spike juice and whatever it is.
Little different, yep.
Okay.
Yep, and some things we're 100% more confident on, like ash trees against emerald ash borer. That's a very effective treatment where Dutch elm disease, it works very well, but unfortunately there's no guarantees in tree health as if there's no guarantees in human health.
Would it be proper to say that Bartlett can come over to your house and analyze your shrubs, your trees, and all that, and you don't have to get rid of them? If something's sick, you guys can often get a plan together to make them, to bring them back.
And we know the problems each individual species faces.
Right, okay.
So we will be very proactive in our approach.
But you don't do regular landscaping, you wouldn't come in and
we install, but we don't know. We're not going to do a complete landscape overhaul.
Put your mulch in and all that. You're not that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So putting in, if someone had a tree and they want to plant some fairly adult-sized trees, is that you or is that somebody else?
It can be us or in conjunction with people we network
But you
with.
Might say, you know what, you don't want to plant that there because
don't do this
the soil's wrong, or you've got apple scabs or whatever. there's factors. So you're more like more like a doctor. I like the IV term.
Yeah.
More than just a guy with a bucket truck and a chainsaw.
Sure.
All right, so the 656-2323.
Yep.
So someone says, I got to talk to someone. Well, they probably say, what does it cost? And you don't even know what the they'll ask that, but you don't even know really what what am I trying to say? You got to ask questions.
Yes.
Of what they really want to accomplish.
Yeah, so we get phone calls occasionally where, how much would it be to prune this tree?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Correct. That's what I was trying to say.
Yes, we have to get eyes on it.
Okay, so 456-2323, bartletttree.com.
656-2323.
Look at that, Steve. Tom, I screwed the number up again. 656-2323,
Bartlett.com.
Bartlett.com.
Yep.
Boy, did I screw that up, Tom. And nobody's going to know who to call.